Now for a movie rant break, One Up presents a movie rant break. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the movie rant break. I am excited to be back for this episode. I got Anonymous in the house.
Here I am. Thank you. Oh, my fan.
Your fan?
You're my fan.
Your fan.
I just have one. Hi, Heather.
Shout out to Heather, goddamn. But no, I'm excited, and today we're reviewing Goblet of Fire. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And we originally reviewed the first three, and it's been 7 months because we're reading through the books and reviewing the movies.
Okay, but let's clarify.
You were traveling.
No. I had my part done months ago.
So unfortunately, I had to take a break at one point. And
it is so hard being famous.
Shut the fuck up.
What? I'm giving you credit.
Shut up. Merlin's beard.
Merlin's pants, I thought it was.
It's Merlin's beard.
He says pants at one time. Someone says it.
You're done. So I think today's going to be a fun episode. I'm going to be going over the movie and the major book differences that I had seen, and we're going to talk about that and unpack some things. And I got some funny things to also bring up and converse about that I think is interesting regarding the lore of Potter. But let's get in here and let you people know what the fuck going on with the people part of it. It was directed by Mike Newell, screenplay by Steve Kloves. And I think I've already said this, and I'll say it every episode, but Steve Kloves did a really good job with the screenplay, with the inclusion of the most correct aspects in the films. And I actually have some points, naturally, with these larger books of things that should have been added.
So he wrote the screenplay.
Steve Kloves, he did all of them.
He did all. Yes, he did a good job of leaving parts out of the book for the movie, but it was seamless.
Yeah, no,
he changed things up, and it was a good job.
Yeah, overall, I think there's things that he could have included and didn't, and I want to talk about that with this one. But overall, definitely a stellar job. It was tough. These are large books to try to condense. But obviously, it's based off J.K. Rowling's literature. Shout out to J.K. Rowling.
Again.
Produced by David Heyman, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Robbie Coltrane, R.I.P., Ralph Fiennes, Michael Gambon, R.I.P., Brendan Gleeson, Jason Isaacs, Gary Oldman, Alan Rickman, R.I.P., Maggie Smith, R.I.P.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Timothy Spall. Cinematography, Roger Pratt. Edited by Mick Audsley. Music by Patrick Doyle. And that's weird. I thought like John Williams did all of them. Because I think he did the other ones, no?
No, I don't know.
Well, it's just,
I'm just here for the entertainment.
Yeah, John Williams did the original shit, and then Patrick Doyle, Nicholas Hooper, and Alexandre Desplat did other scores throughout.
Oh, okay.
But John Williams did the iconic like Hogwarts
theme
scores.
Yeah. Well, whoever it was, they did a great job.
Yeah, no,
Always
the music top to bottom is really good on this. It came out November 6th that was the premiere. The premiere was November 6th, 2005, and the premiere in the U.S., like to the whole public, was November 18th, 2005.
Wow. Time flies.
19 years, I guess.
Yeah.
We got a run time of 157 minutes. Budget, $150 million. Box office, $897.5 million.
Jeez.
Which is, with inflation is over $1 billion.
Yeah.
At this point. Brief breakdown. It is the 4th year of the boy Harry Potter going to Hogwarts to learn witchcraft and wizardry. And this particular year, there is the Tri-Wizard Tournament.
That's correct.
Where guest schools join Hogwarts, being Durmstrang,
I believe.
Durmstrang. That's going to fuck me up. Hold on. It's Durmstrang.
And then the other one I could never say. It's
Beauxbaton, I think.
I thought it was Bobox. Bobak Academy.
I think it's Bobaton. Hold on. I wrote down like an.
I know there's an X in there.
I know, but it's silence.
How do you know?
Because of the way I've heard people say it.
I just saw the movie.
It's Bobaton. Bobaton.
Bobaton. That's
Bobaton.
Bobaton Academy.
We're on drugs.
This is your brain on drugs.
Merlin's beard.
Merlin's pants.
You're done.
I think that was Slughorn who said that. Maybe. Anyway.
Shout out to Slughorn, goddammit.
He dead too.
Not in real life.
No.
You're done. Okay. So I kind of wanted to, now that we're into this, I had some funny things that I wanted to bring up. Now I want to talk about the film, but there's just some premises here.
Okay, let's see how
one of them is, okay. In this film, we hear about Hagrid being a half human, half giant. Okay, and there's a bunch of drama around that we're definitely going to talk about.
Yeah, you should have been able to tell from movie one.
Yeah, it's obvious.
That was half giant.
The other teacher, what the fuck's her name?
Okay, you need to be a little bit more specific.
Madam Bobaton. Yeah, Madam Maxine.
Maxine, yes.
Maxine, whatever her fucking is.
Yes.
She's also half giant. But
no, she's full giant because she still towers over Hagrid.
I thought she was half giant.
No, she was a giant.
No, she's not, because normal giants are 20 to 25 feet tall.
She was on her knees a lot in the movie. I don't. Okay,
she's
shout out
also,
to you.
She's a hybrid. She's a hybrid
because he did ask her.
She's a hybrid.
He did ask her. What
she's
side
like, "What do you mean? I'm human," but she's a hybrid.
He didn't say hybrid. He said, "What side is yours?" or something like that.
Yeah. So,
and she said, "The hang to the right," because she's tranny. Anyway,
she just. So I just thought giants having sex with humans, the size disparity is, what are we doing here?
Well, I mean,
20 to 25 foot giants having sex with 5-6 foot humans. What's going on here? I need answers.
Why are you looking at me? I mean, I know I'm hung, but
I'm saying, no, but like seriously, what? Like how,
dude? It's a fucking magic movie. It's magic.
I'm just saying, when you think about it, it's funny because how would that actually work? Was it consensual?
Well, since Hagrid's mother was the giant, maybe while she was sleeping, someone ran in and pried open the cave doors.
Yeah, and this was like all up in it. That's what I'm saying. These are questions that.
But someone had to stay there and hold the doors open. He got stuck in there. Man. He got stuck in there when he was doing it, and those doors closed. He gone.
He's still there.
He's gone.
He came out with a baby. Yeah. Okay, that was just one of the things that I wanted to question because it's valid. Another thing.
Do you have dreams about this?
Giants fucking normal sized humans?
Yeah.
I will now.
Yeah.
Do you think wizards have more kinky sex with all their wizardry that they could implement?
Well, let's face it. I mean, you have two ugly wizards. They can change each other into whoever they wanted to be.
Role play would be on a different level. Different level.
Not only fucking role play. I mean, total different person.
Yeah, but you could do that too. But you'd have to get a hair from that person, which that'd be kind of creepy.
No.
Did Polyjuice it?
That's for Polyjuice. I'm talking about transfiguration. Yeah, that one too.
But that's into objects, not other things.
No, you turn people. Remember? Are you freaking kidding me? Just watch the freaking movie. What? Malfoy was turned into a weasel. Remember?
Yeah, but that's an animal. That's not another.
Doesn't matter. You just said kinky.
So where bestiality is getting.
Someone's gonna say, "Hey, I'm fucking a goat tonight."
God damn. You're right.
Thank you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, but I was talking about, you could throw in some extra, like you could flip them. I don't know. You could do some crazy shit. Just another thought that I had.
Oh my God. It's like on that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Remember she opened her shirt, The Martian, there were 3 tits there? There you go. You could do that.
Total Recall?
Total Recall.
Yeah, the 3-titted bitch.
Yeah.
There's also a movie where there's a 1-titted bitch. I think it's like
Cyclops?
It's a... Yeah, that's why. No, it's like Kung Fu Hustle or like Now I want to
Oh my word! Oh, I was supposed to entertain the crowd while you look at.
Yeah, I'm breasted.
Watch, I'm going to do this. Woo, woo, woo. Okay,
It's
I'm
Kung
done.
Pao. We're the one-breasted woman. If you want to
The
see
animated show.
No.
Oh.
This is the Total Recall is the 3. If you're looking
Right.
for 3 breasts, go to Total Recall. If you're looking for the 1 breast, it's Kung Pao, which is a comedy.
There's also Kung Pao chicken.
Careful. Okay,
Let's go.
I got more jokes, but we'll get back into it later.
And that doesn't mean me.
So one thing with this movie, though, that just face value needs to be addressed is the hair. The hair in this movie with the leads. What's going on here?
Okay, don't forget, these are kids that are now entering the young adulthood. Harry was 14. They were all 14, 15, the young kids. That's what you're talking about, I'm assuming, Harry Potter. He had a freaking mop head.
So didn't Ron.
Okay, but actually, if you look, that's the way he was described in book 1, too. A mop head. His hair was never combed.
Not full mop. Like, that was...
Yeah. It was.
It's
It's just that his head was bigger now. But yeah, a couple of scenes, it's like, what was this?
Yeah, who was doing hair and makeup?
Obviously, they were sleeping that day.
It's just a lot, and I think it takes away from the movie. It really does. Like, a little bit. Not like it does, like, ruin it, but you're just like, what the fuck's going on with their hair?
You thought the movie was ruined because of his hair?
No, I'm saying aesthetically, it just looks silly.
Well, again, they're 14. They're young teenagers.
So I read and heard or saw an interview where I think Daniel Radcliffe is explaining why the hair was like that, and they had not cut their hair through summer break or something, and they had come back and they all had long hair, and I think they just ran with it with that.
So if you knew the answer, why did you wait this long to tell us? Me included with your fans.
You're done.
No, you're not. I should like, hey, this is why.
But I'm just saying, but what I said still stands true. Where it's distracting at times.
To some
just
people,
like looks silly.
No,
They should
I
have
just
done
think
it.
they're kids. That's what it comes down to. They're young teenagers, and they're being rebellious.
You know what? You know what's funny with this film, where that has always confused me is when they go to the Quidditch World Cup, the Weasleys and Potter and everybody, and they have that mansion tent.
Yeah.
Which obviously the borough that they live in, the Weasleys, is a very narrow, many-tiered storied house. Mm-hmm. But it always confused me with the magic fact why their house wasn't better and why they're poor, and then like this tent they had was really luxurious. And the answer was that in a book it explains there was someone in the ministry that had given the tickets and the use of this tent. I think his name is Perkins, but that's the reason why that tent. For anybody that was wondering, like, why is this tent so fucking nice? Because it was kind of they got like silk and all sorts of fancy luxuries.
Well, it's a tent. It's like what do they call it now? Glamping, glamorous camping. There you go.
Yeah,
and they are magic people. Remember?
Yeah, but I always wonder why the Weasleys didn't, spice their house up a little bit.
Well, look at everybody. Why aren't all the magic people living in mansions?
Yeah, no, that's my thought in general. But
Well, next time we're talking to JK, ask her.
I'm going to. Quidditch World Cup, and right before that too, Nagini makes an appearance earlier on in the film,
right?
And I thought the special effects didn't look great. It was fine, but it didn't look great.
Don't forget, this is how long ago? 20 years?
19. Yeah, but there still was some other shit that, it was fine for the time. And I didn't think the World Cup, like the Quidditch arena, looked great. And like the sequence, it was just kind of, they weren't there yet. And it kind of aged, not as bad as the first ones with Quidditch, but it's still not great.
No, it looked good from the outside, but once they got into the inside, it looked weird.
But like the boat emerging, the Durmstrang
boat
looked good emerging from the water. Like that looked really fantastic.
Same thing with the flying carriage.
Yeah, Bobatons.
So they must have had an extendable charm on that as well, since all those kids were living in that little carriage.
Yeah, and that's what's said in the book and elaborated. It actually is way bigger, as you know, in the book, where it says that it's as big as a house.
Right.
Not But you could say there were some charms involved in the movie. I don't know, whatever. Also, the dragon looked great, special effects wise.
Which one?
Just the dragon sequence,
Yep.
first task, and the underwater sequence. I thought looked good. The mer people looked fine.
Yep,
like that all. Looked
they
really
were different. They were not what you would expect to see when they talk about mer people. Because remember, there was the picture of the mermaid in the movie later on. They did not look like people.
You talking about the stained glass?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they're a little more
Fish looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they had a little darker vibe to them, which I liked.
Yeah.
And during the Quidditch World Cup, Crumb plays for the Bulgarians, if I'm not mistaken. And I just thought it was bizarre that he was the most adequate seeker when he's still in school to be on the country's Quidditch team.
I don't know.
I just was like, he's been that
but
much
don't
of a
forget,
baller.
that was his last year.
Yeah, and he could be like a baller. I mean, I guess in defense of that, there's like Kobe Bryant got drafted out of high school, type shit. So I guess that makes sense. It's weird though because there's only one match that they did for the Quidditch World Cup, but I guess it's the World Cup finals.
That's it, yes.
One thing that I was thinking about too that is interesting is the owls and how they just know where to go. Which, granted, owls just generally they're not good pets in real life, which is fine.
These are magic owls.
They're mad, so they just know to find their destination. But like, I just find it weird that if I'm being super critical, which I am at this moment, when there's people that they don't know where the whereabouts of, and like for instance, Potter sending Hedwig to go find Sirius and deliver a letter. Like, how does Hedwig know where he's at?
He's magic. That's what it comes to. They're magic owls.
I got it.
You're ripping apart the whole freaking movie. Some things are better left to the imagination.
Well, I think people need to hear they're magical owls. Okay, word. We'll go with that. That's fine. That's what I thought. And now someone would
say, well, how the fuck does he know?
Because it's magic.
If you believe in magic. Shut up.
At the Quidditch World Cup.
Again.
We're still there. There's 100,000 wizards, right? And then 20 Death Eaters show up.
Not even 20, but
okay. Are they? I'm asking a question for them because to kind of amplify the answer. But like, are they that feared and powerful? They must be, right? If that many people are like, I'm not trying to fuck with them.
No,
because there was so many wizards, and I think this also can show how maybe in the same sense where like most people don't know how to fight. Most people don't know how to duel and fight.
They're not opposed to using one of the killing curses.
Yeah, and probably blocking that shit ain't easy. Yep.
So it's like a gang. Ooh. And they're always looking for Slytherins to graduate to join their gang. But it doesn't always happen.
I think Rupert Grint is the best kid actor and the most natural at acting in the Potter films and the early films.
I know. He was so good as Longbottom.
Rupert Grint?
Yeah.
That's...
I know. It was Ron Weasley.
No, don't you think so? Like when you watch the early ones, because I've been dissecting them as we watch them. Like even Hermione, like Emma Watson, the first couple, she's overacting, and then Daniel Radcliffe seems like he's like trying his best because he's fucking Harry Potter and it's like super challenging.
Well, Ron had also had the funny lines.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a character memorable. The times that they made you laugh, it's like, oh, that was pretty good.
He does have some go even in the early on ones.
Yes, and all the way through with the whole series. He had funny lines.
But he seemed the most natural at acting, I guess. Even though he had maybe better lines written for him and it's easier to deliver.
It was also, I think it was easier if the character he's playing, he's obviously Harry's best friend, but he's also now the jealous friend because he's not getting the attention. It's kind of easier to play that kind of part. That was for the first half of the movie. He was like that. He was
in this one,
jealous.
I was talking across, like I guess the first
whole movie,
four
or the first
movies.
4.
The first 4 is what I'm talking about. But yeah, in this
first 4, yes, he's definitely done the better job. Again, because he's had the funny lines. which makes them memorable. And
less slides too.
yeah,
So no, that makes sense. How many students do you think have died in the Triwizard tournament?
They did tell that several had.
Oh, that's right. I think I have that in some of my book
Yeah,
observations.
he said people had died in this tournament.
Yeah, and I think people have died, and I think that's why they stopped doing them for so long. And this was them bringing it back because they stopped because of the death that happened.
That's right. And remember, the Ministry of Magic had to make some changes. That's why they changed the age limit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I always make sense. In fact, you want change.
The one thing I don't like in this film is it still has this quirky bullshit in it. For instance, when Malfoy gets transfigured into a ferret, and then he gets put in Crabbe or Goyle's pants.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary,
Well, it was funny. That's all it was supposed to be. It was funny. Because he could bounce him up and down, but he had to do something with it.
Why did he? He didn't in the book.
No. But this is a memorable moment when people would laugh. Because they see Goyle tried to get it out. And that's when everyone started yelling and screaming, and then that's when McGonagall showed up.
Way out of pocket. It wasn't even in the motherfucking book. So
dude, they had 15 seconds of film they had to add, and that's what
they didn't need to.
Yes, they did. It added hijinks and humor to the movie.
Hijinks?
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Hijinks.
Yeah.
See what that is, people.
Yeah, because he did something funny. Oh, he put a live ferret down someone's pants. That's a joke. It's a prank. It's
boisterous fun.
See?
Hijinks.
Yeah. Wow.
You
must have been absent or high that day they told us.
I was high.
Jinx.
Jinx. Fucks with us. Jinx.
Oh, my fucking word.
That's dope.
I'm a dope.
I kind of want to talk about the books differences and shit, but
well, it's your show.
I'm just
here as I can.
As I get talking more about it, I just want to unpack that. But
well, let's get to it then. Let's not keep.
I'll try to go in tandem with where I am with other critiques as far as chronological orders go.
Yeah,
let's do that. Maybe I'll bounce back and forth, see how it feels, and if not,
let's not keep my fan waiting.
So a funny part of the book, very first chapter, if I'm not mistaken, Voldemort tells Wormtail to milk Nagini before bed because she will need feeding in the night, or he will need feeding in the night because he was tired from his travels.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wild. Milk my snake.
See, you got to take it there. Come on.
Yeah. Did you just speak Parseltongue?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the book shit after. I already don't like it. But I'm glad I told the Nagini joke. Yeah, milk Nagini.
Yeah. No,
then he spoke Parseltongue, so it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Oh, come on. You're taking Potter down to this perverted.
No, I'm just because I think not enough people are critical on it, and it's still an amazing movie.
It's a movie. You don't have to be critical. You look at the movie.
Yes, I do.
Did it enjoy me?
Job.
Did it enjoy
my job is to be critical, and just because this is my favorite film series, I still want to do my diligence and talk some shit about it, and it's still things that I can look past or just whatever.
But now, what if you're ruining it for someone who's tuning in to say, "Do I really want to see that movie?" And you're like, "These are all the bad points."
Honestly, there's so many good things.
We don't have time to cover all of them.
We don't, and that's what's kind of tricky about reviewing these movies with the books and stuff. There's so many.
I can do it.
Well, these episodes have been full of hijinks.
Crickets.
Dude, that was good. Okay, so back to the movie. Right.
Yeah, how do you do a cricket?
That's not it, but I appreciate it. Okay. Characters that you really like in this movie, that you think excel and are their performance was great and it was great to see the character on screen. Is there any that stand out for you? Because there's a lot of new ones introduced and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them are only there temporarily, though. That's the whole thing, But if you look at all the characters, Jesus.
Jesus, he wasn't in this one.
Yes, he was. When he parted the Red Sea and the ship showed up. You know, I mean, they all stand out. I mean, you look at the three kids. They're a couple of years older, a year older, so their performances are getting better. Plus, they're hitting that age where they start having all that teenage angst and, you know, crushes and who likes who and that kind of stuff. So they're playing that part as they're doing it now, you know, in real life, I would assume. So I think, I mean, the three kids, I think they did a great job maturing.
I mean, that's like they couldn't demature. I don't love that answer. I think of someone who's a little like outside of those three, like because I don't think you're making. I think
Dumbledore did a great job.
Dumbledore,
yeah. You know, his moments, but Harry reflecting and what's going on, I think he portrayed that well.
How do you feel about Moody's character then?
Actually, I thought it was good too. I can relate it. I mean, he's a goofball, you know, but yeah, he was like a real teacher. You know, from the hood.
He was a hood. Moody is a hood teacher.
He's from the hood.
He's
like, I'm telling you what you're up against, bitches. Bam!
Why do you have to ruin this for me? No, I wouldn't. No. Every time I see Moody now, I wouldn't think he's like a captain in a gang.
A hood.
Like he's just on some gang shit.
He was funny.
I see. He's a character that I always kind of didn't care for. And then the more I watch it, the more I appreciate his character. Mm-hmm. And maybe also as the older I get, like I can see like his representation of the character. It checks out. Yeah. I think in the book he's supposed to be more slender, but I think the connotation and the energy of the guy that plays Alistair Moody is on point.
Yeah, like, he was also missing part of his nose in the book too, but they didn't show that.
Yeah, what's his name?
Who?
The dude that plays Moody.
Oh, it's that Irish guy.
Yeah.
Pat McGroin.
That was very good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Who was it?
Brendan Gleeson.
That's Jackie Gleason's brother. He's related to Jackie Gleason.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't know. He ain't. He dead too.
Is there anyone?
Well, again, you got to look at who else had huge parts. Barty Crouch, Senior, was in there, but I mean, nothing that he did like really is like, oh, he is the. Was he? He's not the Minister of Magic. What was he?
Crouch?
Yeah.
He was. Fuck, I want to look this up.
Yeah, because he was in charge of the hearings.
Yeah. The one, I feel like, and I'm going to get into this more, but I think that Ludo Bagman got gypped for not being in this movie. I think that was a disservice in this movie that Steve Kloves didn't include, but it might not have been his choice to be like, take him out. You know?
I mean, if you take out all the references that were him later on, like in the book, you know, you take out a huge part. So you got to take those out because you're not getting into it. So how much screen time would he have had? If
he would have been an integral part of the movie, if he was in the movie. And that's why I think that.
Yeah, but you have to say, look at how long is he going to be in the movie? What part do you cut from him? Because he was all through the book. Remember when the twins kept trying to like get a hold of him because he owed them money for the bet and all that.
Yeah.
So you can't have all parts of it, like of his character, because that's a part they removed. So how much do you take off to there where he is still a vital character? If you take all that stuff and just have him, he was the previous whatever he was.
He was the department head of like games.
So if they brought him in, what was he going to do if you took all that other stuff out about the betting and everything else? He's going to introduce the start of the game, and then what?
I just appreciate. I get why they took him out. And by the way, Barty Crouch Sr. is magical law enforcement.
There we go. I knew it.
So, but I get why you could cut his character out. I just think like the show they're doing is going to do him justice. He's going to be in the show, obviously, because
you can take little episodes and do what you want with each episode.
Because to take him out, you can do it. I get it, but at the same time, having him in would have made the story better. Because
How?
Because the gambling concept between the twins and the blackmailing that they're doing, that's talked about in the book, and then also him trying to help Harry cheat essentially,
Right,
multiple times.
I mean, how much is that going to add to the movie?
And I'm just saying that the concept of he had lost money to goblins,
right?
And so the people know, lost money to goblins, and bet with the goblins to regain his debts. He bet on Potter to win the Triwizard Tournament. So through the whole book, the head game, what the fuck's his title?
Gamekeeper.
Is it Gamekeeper?
No, that's from the Hunger Games.
He's what the fuck is it? Magical game. He was the head of the Department of Magical Games and Sports.
There we go.
So he's trying to help Potter win because he's got these debts and stuff. And I just think it's a cool little story arc. And then how it turns out, and then he also has sequences where he's associated with dark wizards,
right?
And he was on trial, much like Karkaroff was, the Durmstrang fucking
principal,
yeah,
headmaster,
whatever, yeah. And then like that all just and just made the whole thing feel more.
But you
enriched.
could say that about all the parts that they cut off, really. That they said, "Oh, this really you can't use as the movie," but yeah. It would have been interesting to see that played out.
And I think people will see when the show comes out, that character is going to shine. Whoever plays him is going to be a cool actor, and it's going to be a sick character to have on screen.
I mean, depending on how long these shows go and how long the seasons are, they could go forever about all these little storylines being one episode.
Every season's going to be a book. And I'm sure the seasons are going to get longer as they go. They're not going to spare any expense because the money on that's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, but you imagine having to say, "Oh, what's your first acting job?" "Oh, I'm playing Emma Watson in Harry Potter." Yeah, good fucking luck.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. They started casting, like they're casting all this in the year of 2025.
Yeah, but supposedly they want an Asian tranny to be Hermione.
J.K. Rowling she don't play that.
Yeah, that's right.
They hate. She's just like, no, woman is woman. Like y'all can fuck off, and I appreciate her a lot for doing that.
Yeah. Hear her roar.
Hear her roar.
Okay, back to the show.
Back to the movie. So, still talking about Moody. So he can do unforgivable curses. On bugs. That's allowed.
Well, that's what the whole thing was. That's why Hermione was so upset. Maybe she's come down the stairs. After the class, she goes, "I can't believe they did that in school. That's not allowed," or something like that.
Well, in the book, Moody does imperious curses on the students, and Potter is the only one that's able to resist the imperious curse, like a smidge, not entirely, but. So in the book, he kind of goes crazy and does the curses on the kids.
Yeah.
Which is also like, whoa, I thought Hogwarts is way out of, like, when you start to dissect what the fuck goes on at this school, you're like, this is the projects for the wizards. Like, the worst shit happens at Hogwarts. Like, Hogwarts is the projects from all the violence. Straight up.
Well, yeah, because remember the last movie? When the school was taken over by the brother-sister?
Wait, brother-sister?
Yes.
Wait. Brother
and sister, they were at the school. Remember when they finally meet up with Neville, and he says, "Oh yeah, they make us use the first years to practice the."
That's in Deathly Hallows.
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you meant like the previous one,
no.
like Azkaban. So I'm like, what the fuck is he on? Oh, you're talking about the Death Eater siblings that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And they
were like Moody was doing it though. He was doing the same in the book.
He's doing they made the students do it on the students.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it got really dark.
Yeah, that might be even part 2. That's like the final film.
Caro's.
This is Caro's.
Yeah, there we go. It takes a while, but it eventually shows up. So yeah.
So people might ask why Moody just didn't kill Potter when he's. I'm gonna say I want to say Moody Crouch. This is like Barty Crouch Jr. is Moody, but like Moody Crouch. Moody Crouch.
Because why?
Voldemort wants to be the one to kill Potter, and he has to get and he's trying to get him to resurrect.
Voldemort needed Harry Potter's blood for the whole resurrection.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why he said, because remember in the beginning of the movie, Wormtail said, why can't we do it without the boy?
Which brings me to another point is that you could be like, why doesn't Barty Crouch Jr. as Moody just turn a port key into something else and just make Potter touch it during school rather than go through all the trouble?
Would know that he was part of it. It had to look natural. It had to happen when people wouldn't expect it. If he set up a port key and all of a sudden he disappeared, it would be moments before everyone
Well,
knew.
what difference does it make if it's now or later in that sense? Like eventually they're going to know. I mean, did he think he still could be, his intent was still to be at Moody at the school?
No, but then he could have left. Once the deed was done, everyone's so big he could just slip off. But if he turned the port key into something and he touched it during a school day, how long do you think he'd be able to get out of there?
I don't know because
there was like, where'd Harry Potter go? Hermione and Ron. Where's Harry? Where's Harry? Where's Harry?
But either way, Moody's going to disappear. Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. So you bring up foolish points.
Shut the fuck up.
You're done.
She's got her own show now. Shout out to
I know, at TLC.
Balin, Tourette's King.
Yep.
Queen.
Hello.
Up
top, Girl Scout. Shout out. Do it. What's the next point?
Spew. In the book,
I can't. I'm dry.
Pause. If you read the book, there's this dynamic where Hermione becomes privy to the idea that there's slaves in the basement kitchen of Hogwarts cooking food. What?
Okay, they're not slaves. Yeah.
Not slaves. They're in
his Kizzy from Roots.
No.
As a house elf.
They're the house. There's a bunch of them, but she looks at it as like slavery. I guess is like what I was
that's the key. You just said there were slaves in the basement.
Well, like that's the funny shit.
Yes,
like,
sir, massa.
Yeah, but like the thing is, they're all into it and grateful to work at Hogwarts. But Hermione creates this group called Spew, which
it's Spew.
The Society for the Promotion of Elvish Welfare. Okay, is what it stands for.
Yeah, because Ron was calling it Spew, and she goes, "It's Spew."
Like ridiculous.
You say spew, it sounds like someone's puking.
Yeah, no, it's just funny. Like honestly. But that's not in the movie, and in the book, it's pretty present. Where they go visit the kitchen, and
Hermione tries to free them by leaving clothes under stuff. So the house elves who also clean the house at night.
So Hermione's she's like Harriet Tubman.
Yeah. So the house elves wouldn't clean the tower. Everyone was pissed. I was like, "Geez."
Oh my fucking word!
No,
I think it didn't.
Harriet Tubman. Oh, that's right. She let him on the train.
The Underground Railroad. It's not the actual
the Underground
train.
Soul Train.
But then this Spew turned into House Elf Liberation Front, which is also ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a front. Okay. Hermione on some shit.
Yeah.
Like, love her. What do you think regarding the situation of the mass amount of house elves that work for Hogwarts?
Well, again, that's their nature to serve.
To be slaves.
Not to be slaves.
Would you join Spew?
No, what the fuck for? Sorry, no one was on board.
Yeah,
I remember she asked Hagrid.
These are free slaves.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like, don't ruin a good thing, Hermione. I know. Fucking
She's
women.
foolish, yeah.
Women always be fucking shit up. But Hermione does help a lot as normal, and she helps Potter learn the Accio spell more efficiently for the first task in the book, which is cool of her.
In the book, not in the movie. It's just like there was nothing to it.
Yeah, Moody's just like he just says you.
Remember in the first task, all of a sudden she goes, "Use your wand, Harry." It's like, don't you think he'd know to do that?
Hermione, she's trying to help out. God bless her.
Well, she knew because Ron and Harry weren't talking at that point.
Yeah, their spat was way more serious in the book. Like they were on some shit. They did not.
Well, again,
like
how much more could they cover? I mean, in the book,
yeah,
yes,
they're
they
pissed.
It went. So, but again, you don't know the English language. You're a really foul git. I mean, what does that mean? You motherfucking asshole.
They never use wanker.
That and piss off.
Piss off. And Ron has some good lines.
Piss off. And then he cried in his pillow.
And he was just salty because he's got no clout.
Uh-huh.
Ron just wants a little clout. But
Harry Potter, I'm Harry Potter's stupid friend.
Yeah, but in this one, I think, does he get over it? I think he finally gets over it. Because he gets over
after the first task.
Well, yeah, and then he got an autograph for that little fanboy of Potter.
The fanboy, and then remember both the sisters. What the hell is the
Bavardis?
No, the other one. No. From Bo Baxon. Floor.
Oh, Delacour.
Remember they each gave him a kiss, her and her sister?
In the movie?
Yes, at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. So
I was like, he got some clout there.
Well, yeah, he ended up getting his own reputation up, and he also accepts where his role was in the group and just accept it. Like, it's not a big deal, and like Potter's not being a douchebag about it. And I think that's a cool dynamic with the trio is they all grow to accept each other in ways that's really cool. Like in this instance with
their
Ron,
friendship gets tried,
Yeah, but they work through those elements where like you have a famous friend. Ron works through that. Ron also has to work through the fact that in this story, people are starting to eye Hermione, and then he realizes now he's feeling feelings for her, maybe had hidden feelings for her. So I think it's really cool that this book / movie is underrated in the sense of like the impact that it has for the rest of the series, because we're kind of at what I would say like prologue's complete. Yeah. And from here on out, the stories are much more enriched and interesting, and things unfold in a really incredible way, in my opinion. And like even the films naturally, thankfully, get a lot stronger. Although these are good, but like the start of the tone of Order of the Phoenix, immediately very dark. Well,
again, because like I said, they're growing up. They're teenagers. So I mean, trying to get back to that point, I mean, Jesus, that train was never coming to a station anytime soon when you were rambling. But what I was saying is that, they're finally starting to realize, they have feelings for each other. It's all, them growing up.
Yeah, and it's just Voldemort's now back. Like, this is the most developmental story of it's.
I think
so far.
I mean, this really set the tone. Now you see who they're all talking about when they say Voldemort, and he's back and what he could do. But it's weird that it was just like the last part of the movie that had that. The whole Triwizarding tournament. I mean, was it really necessary for the whole plot of the Harry Potter plot? Did anything else follow with this? Oh, well, yeah, it did. Because had they left this out, you would never know where Fred and George got the money for their joke shop.
Yeah, which comes into effect. There's tons of stuff regarding this event. I mean, just the introduction of the schools. The schools wouldn't have been there. Right. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's infinite reasons why I think that's not the case. Fireplace face.
Oh,
not good in this one. It's like coal. They did better in the Order of Phoenix, where it's full, like they put his real face in the fire rather than try to mold it with coal.
I think they realized what didn't work.
Yeah, they just had like a weird vibe, like a weird tone to it to me. Like
it also sounded like he was burning himself.
He's like, "Help, Harry, help me! I'm in this fire." Like, how do you think Barty Crouch Jr. was able to get his voice to change along with the Polyjuice? At least in the films, and this could be their mistake, but the voices don't change in Chamber of Secrets when Harry and Ron become Crabbe and Goyle.
Yes,
They
they
still
do.
have their voices.
No, they don't.
They have their voices. Their
Well,
normal
they would
voices.
disguise them because remember when he said, "Oh,
They
there's
try
a
to
scar."
disguise the
Yeah.
voice.
Uh-huh.
And then, but I'm saying in this one, I guess you could attribute magic shit where Barty Crouch Jr. was able
Oh,
to
yeah,
change
because
his
now
voice.
these are wizards. It's not like they're little
Yeah.
kids trying to figure this stuff out. I'm sure
Yeah.
they covered the bases. So
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
And the fact that he kept drinking it, I forgot. I mean, he has to. They only last an hour. That when they drink the potion, so that's why he had to keep drinking. I couldn't figure that out at first. I'm like, why is he keep
There's
drinking?
an hour for
Yeah.
like dose,
So-
in the book it explains why he was so convincing to say Dumbledore and his friends, because he had him locked away for a decent amount of time and he put him under Imperious Curse and asked him questions about him so that he for months
Oh yeah,
to learn how to conduct himself.
that's
as
why they
Moody.
kept him. That's why they kept him there, so they could ask questions.
And he needed his hair to keep
Yeah.
making potions.
So you would need 24 bottles a day.
Or shots, 24 shots.
Yeah, yeah, I've done that.
I've done that.
What I can remember.
There's a funny thing I noticed for the first time watching this time was it sounded like Dumbledore said "fuck you."
I can't. believe
Did you hear it?
No, I didn't know, and I just watched it too.
It's subtle because it's not even focused on in the frame. Dumbledore is not in the frame, but it's when Fudge and Moody and Dumbledore are leaving after Potter finds Barty Crouch Senior on the grounds, and that conversation's ending, and Dumbledore's leaving his office, and he's out of frame, and he sounds like he says "fuck you," but I think it's "off you" or something.
Off
but
you go, probably.
yeah,
Off you go.
which is some like British shit, I'm assuming. But it's at 1 hour and 42 minutes and 15 seconds ish.
Oh, I was busy.
If you want to hear what I'm talking about, it's funny. When the Death Eaters in the film show up, which I love the Dark Mark, great design. I have it myself. I should.
Okay, don't be
It's here.
fooled, people. It's a Sharpie.
It's here. It's here. But one thing I didn't like in this one that they fix in the later films is oh shit, I'm high. is the mass for the Death Eaters. In this one, they're half skulls,
Yeah.
and then they go to full mass. Like I have Bellatrix's mask right here, and I actually have this sick full mask. That's I think Lucius's.
Yeah.
But in this, they're half skulls. They just don't look nearly as swagged out. But they fix it in Order of the Phoenix, and they look dope.
Yes.
They're very cool looking. One premise in the same sequence is when Voldemort is into fruition, and then he's doing the dueling with Potter. The wands connect.
Yes.
And this happens because it's a thing called, I have it here, Priori Incantatum. When
That's a
wands
spell.
of the same core meet, because in this case there's a phoenix feather from the same phoenix that was used for these wands. So the reason that this happens in the movie is because Potter and Voldemort have the phoenix feathers from same phoenix. And
That was pointed out in the first one.
that it was Fox's feathers?
Not Fox. They said the same Phoenix.
Yeah, but it's Fox.
It's
Which
Fox,
is Dumbledore's Phoenix that the feathers are from, which is a cool little tidbit. But then during this whole connecting of wands, people's spirits, or what they call in the book echoes of people, come out of the wand as they're like sparring.
Yeah.
And does that scene ever feel, and that idea seem cheap, like as they would call it in the industry, like plot armor, in order to have Harry be able to escape? And because there's just like, oh, what would happen in this scenario? Like, oh, we'll have the prior murdered victims of that wand.
Well, it was
come
his
out.
prior spells. Yes.
Like, do you think it's cheesy?
No.
Like, as far as the lore is concerned.
Again, it's supposed to be about magic.
Yeah, I know.
But
Some of these things that you see on screen, though, like in that instance, seems kind of cheap. But in the way it's explained in the book, it doesn't seem as cheap. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because when you read it, you're like, all right, that's kind of like, all right, I get it. And like they use vernacular like echoes of victims and shit like that. And that just has a different feel than like his parents showing up and like Cedric's there in ghost form and is like, go Harry. Like it just doesn't translate the same. Yeah. And it looks kind of funky. And sometimes I'm like, okay. Like Voldemort should have just murked him. You know what I mean? Like, really? And it's like, it just, the way it's presented is kind of, I don't know.
I thought it was good. It gave value to why they were there and what they could do. So
it's fine. Just so the book just makes it not feel so, you know, plot armor-esque, I guess. And I think in the movie, when Barty Crouch Sr., he's in on the grounds, it doesn't appear like he's dead. Like Potter just goes to the office of Dumbledore when they're speaking, like Moody and the fuck's his name? Fudge. Like there's the murders, he doesn't say anything about it. That's what he goes there to do.
Right.
But it's just where they don't confirm that Barty Crouch Sr. got killed. Like that's not talked about, which I thought was weird. He's just up against a tree. That's it in the movie.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah. I think they were still trying to puzzle out what happened. How was he murdered? But it's weird that they didn't talk about it. But again,
that's what I'm saying. You kind of don't even know if he's dead or not. You're like, was he dead or like nah? Like, I don't know.
It's weird. Well, they never even talked about how Barty Crouch Jr. got out of Azkaban. They just sort of, call Azkaban and let them know that somebody escaped. Whereas the book went into all the detail about how he got out.
Barty Crouch Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah, like his mother was sick.
Right.
Went to Azkaban. They both took polyjuice potions. The father was in on it, Barty Crouch Sr., who ends up getting killed by his son later on, but was in on it, helped him escort him out, and then had Barty Crouch Jr. under a curse at his house with his house elf Winky, who's not in the motherfucking movie but is prevalent in the book. But Barty Crouch Jr. eventually gets free from this curse because Winky convinces Barty Crouch Sr. to allow his son time out to go live a little because he's been essentially a prisoner to the Quidditch World Cup under an invisibility cloak. And she is with him, and in the book, there's an open seat next to her in the beginning, and she says it's for Barty Crouch Sr., but it's really Barty Crouch Jr. that's sitting there, and that's when he fully breaks from the mind control curse and escapes and does the Dark Mark, and coincidentally, the Death Eaters were there just fucking shit up, apparently.
Yeah.
But
remember, in the book, he stole Harry Potter's wand.
Yeah, because Potter was sitting in front of him, his wand was sticking out, and that's how the whole thing with Potter's wand being, misplaced. They got taken in the top box at the Quidditch World Cup. In the movie, it shows the Malfoys going to like the top box.
No, they were not in the top box.
The Malfoys were.
No, because they said, where were our seats? And Malfoy goes, well, put it this way, when it rains, you'll be the first to know. Yeah,
you're talking shit.
Meaning that you're so far up, you're at the very top.
In the book, the top or like it's like a. It wasn't a bad. They sat with them in the book. I guess is what I'm saying. Right. The Malfoys and the Weasleys are all sitting together,
like a press box type thing.
Yeah, yes. In the book and in the movie, they're not sitting together. No. But Barty Crouch Jr. is hidden under a cloak with them, and anyways, just kind of a whole interesting arc that's in the book and explains, and everything just kind of makes more sense, and this starts to happen more and more in the movies where like it's happening in the movies, but it doesn't have as much credence to it. You're like, okay, but if you know what the fuck's going on, it definitely makes it cooler. Yeah.
But I mean, it did flow. It's not like they left out a whole.
It did.
They bridged it as best they could. I thought.
I agree. No, and it was a job well done for sure.
Here.
This isn't fake news like the Daily Prophet. That was essentially fake news.
Yes.
With
Well,
Rita
that's 'cause Rita
Skeeter.
Skeeter.
Yeah.
And they didn't even cover that either.
Yeah, she's on some shit. And she's in the movie, so it's another thing they didn't.
Yeah, in the book they went, I mean,
Yeah, she's an animagus and she's
unregistered.
unregistered and she's spying on the kids and getting us all this information and writing all these articles exposing kind of what's happening truthfully.
Oh, yeah, they left that part out too. Remember, she wrote about Hermione?
Yeah, and
Hermione got all those nasty telegrams and
she opened one of them up and like warts formed on her hands
she
and
got
shit.
boils and stuff.
Boils, yeah. Like Rita was on some shit.
And Mrs. Weasley,
What about her?
she didn't give her she made the chocolate Easter eggs for Easter, and Hermione's was much smaller than everyone else's.
Oh, and that's why at the end of the book it said that because she assumed there was talk of her and Potter being close.
Right.
Miss
No,
Weasley,
the fact that she was close, but then Hermione, the article came out about her and Victor Crumb.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's when Mrs. Weasley said, "Oh, you get a small Easter egg, bitch."
I don't recall reading that, but that's funny. Yeah, yeah. There's some other shit too, where like Amos Diggory, Cedric Diggory's dad, at the end, kind of talks shit to Potter and is like, "Yeah, you guys are tied, but like." You know, like he said some shit. There's a couple one-liners, and Cedric's like, "Yo, Dad, chill."
Right.
Yeah, how do you feel so far? Like, you feeling good?
With what?
Your statements.
Yes.
You think you're doing a good job? Okay.
I am spot on. Let's ask my fan. Heather, what do you think?
So,
What's up?
what's the point of winning the House Cup? There's just no
House
reward.
Glory.
Just
House Glory.
House Glory.
Yes.
Okay. Who do you think would have won the Triwizard Cup if there was no interference from Bagman or Moody?
If there was no interference, I think Crumb would have won.
That's what I think too. That's my consensus.
Only because he's an athlete, and I think Cedric
He's a pro athlete.
Cedric would have come in second or challenged him.
Potter would be fourth, and Fleur Delacour.
Yeah, because
she's
they're
third.
older. So.
Yeah, and she's still adult.
And if no one had helped them, yeah.
It's crazy that they need a permission slip to go to Hogsmeade, but not to participate in a Triwizard, like to the death tournament. It's like, okay.
Remember, yeah, because then you have it's a binding contract, binding magical contract.
Yeah, and they say it's 17, 18-year-olds only, so they're pretty much adults, but it's just kind of funny. But the binding contract thing, they explain in the book with Barty Crouch Jr. when he stops being in disguise, he's
not in disguise.
He's saying how because first of all, Potter doesn't figure out in the book that Moody, aka Barty Crouch Jr., is who he is. He thinks Karkaroff is the agent that's connected to the Death Eaters. And in the movie, he starts to get privy based on a comment about a graveyard. But in the book, Barty Crouch Jr. just comes out and says it.
Yeah.
And Potter's like, what? And then Barty Crouch Jr. goes to explain how he put Potter's name in the goblet under a different school. Hence, there was two. That's why there was two. It wasn't two Hogwarts champions. He actually submitted
under a different school.
Under a different school, so it spit out another name. And he was the only kid in that school that submitted, so naturally he won. So that's how I thought that was an interesting premise to explain on. That makes it make sense why his name was pooped out is because it was under a different school.
Pooped out, Jesus.
It popped out.
Jesus.
Is that a synonym now?
What? Anyway.
On the Rita Skeeter shit, though, to conclude, like Hermione ends up capturing the reporter in her beetle form, which is kind of funny. So like, shout out to Hermione for that. But
yes, in a jar with an unbreakable curse.
Yes. But she's going to let her out back in London when she gets back.
Yeah.
So one thing that was confusing to me was Karkaroff was put in Azkaban by Moody, and then in the movie it shows Karkaroff snitches on Barty Crouch Jr., and then Barty Crouch Jr. comes back as Moody at Hogwarts. And I'm surprised he didn't kill Karkaroff or fuck with him more. And like,
who, Moody?
Barty Crouch Jr.
Oh, What do you mean? Why didn't fuck with that? I mean, he was still a Death Eater.
Well, that's like the contrast into the book, though, right? Because that's not what happens. Where Karkaroff, I don't know how he escaped or got out of Azkaban, because in the book he
was
doesn't
let
give him
out.
any names. He was let out. Why did they let him out? Because I didn't catch
He
that.
gave them the name. He gave them.
But they had all those names.
No, Barty Crouch Jr.
They say that in the movie, but not the book.
Well, I don't know then. I'd have to go back and look at it again because I'm drawing a blank.
It's okay. I felt like the tasks were backwards in difficulty. The dragon is the first task. I felt that should almost been the last task. Because even in the book, the maze is a little more trickier. There's giant scroots.
There's also a thing. No, a sphinx.
A sphinx with a riddle, and if not, it attacks you. And there's a giant spider.
Yeah.
Which Potter helps protect Cedric, and then gets a pincer to the leg, and his leg's bleeding out.
Yeah. So that.
But still, a dragon is still way more gnarly to me.
Yeah, but then you're really differentiating from the book if they start switching that. The maze,
I'm just saying, like, when she wrote it, like, I'm surprised the dragon wasn't the final task.
No, because all it did was get the. I mean, I see how it was all related because the egg gave you the clue for the task number 2.
Yeah.
So if they did it with the dragon being the last, what's the point of getting the egg?
I got you.
Well, I'm just saying.
You just say over there.
I'm just speaking the truth.
DJ,
spin that shit.
I always attribute the Cedric kill to Voldemort, but it's actually Wormtail's kill.
That's right, but he was acting under Voldemort.
Is he using Voldemort's wand?
No.
Then he must have, because Cedric came out of that wand.
That's right.
So Wormtail must have been. I think he is.
Because yes, he had his wand. Because really, at that point, Voldemort could not hold it.
Yeah, he's just a little baby.
Tiny little baby.
He's a tiny Voldemort.
Avada
Wormtail just straight up cuts his hand off.
Yeah. That knife must have been fucking sharp as hell. Went right through the bone. Nothing. No hacking, no sawing.
There was no blood on it.
No, and not crying either.
Yeah, he just like
sliced it and said, later, bitches.
He let it out well, but in the book, he is in more agony.
Yes.
And there's more blood description, where there's literally none when the knife gets put up to Harry's arm. You're like, why is there no blood on the knife? Did he clean that off? It was magic.
He wiped it on his robe.
It's magic.
Do you believe in magic? Take it.
No.
Okay, give it back.
I thought it looked great with Voldemort coming into existence.
Yes.
After he gets thrown in the cauldron, the effects and overall look was so sick. The smoke, like, it was very ominous. You know, just like the formation of Voldemort coming into existence was.
Well, they had to have the smoke there because the smoke turned into robes.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Otherwise, it'd be naked Voldemort. And
Which he is in the book. He's naked.
Yeah, who wants to see that? It's like, nice wand.
It's like Lucius is like.
Anyway.
So, was there anything in the film that you thought should have been in it and just wasn't?
Anything in the film that I think should have been in but wasn't? Yes. In the film that wasn't in the film but should have been. No, it's just because, again, how much detail to the whole story does that need? I mean, every the full parts in there, but Winky.
If you're gonna go down that road with that storyline, I just think it makes it cooler. Like these extra story arcs, like that arc, is really interesting.
It would have been nice to see more about the schools that were coming. You know, it said our friends to the north. Well, they never mentioned them before.
Well, just in the book, they don't even elaborate on it either, though.
But that would have been something to see.
I know what I'm saying. That's shit that's like in the book. I guess I didn't specify. Like that was in the book.
Yeah. Okay.
But I agree. They could have expanded on that. I guess it's just a random idea.
No, I mean, I really can't think of anything else that was in the book that I would have liked to see in the movie. No, I think they did a good job.
Yeah.
with everything.
Do you know what Potter wears lensless glasses in the movies?
Don't know why.
No, he does.
Yeah.
Because I normally can't notice, but I did in one of the scenes where he was kind of tilted, and I was like, oh, there's no lenses in there.
Well, they also tried to make Hermione wear buck teeth, but that didn't
Don't
work.
do that. It's crazy to think about how none of this would have happened if in the previous story, Potter just killed Wormtail when Sirius wanted to. But like the reason all the bad shit that happens is because Potter doesn't kill Wormtail or let Sirius kill Wormtail. Nothing would have happened. Voldemort doesn't come into existence. Everybody's happy. But no, Potter had to be this noble piece of shit. It's his biggest fuck up. And I think that's why he...
Yes, but why?
Listen, I'm not done. I think that's why he goes and is so dedicated to getting the Horcruxes, which we'll get to. But I think it's got to be a motivating factor. You're like, this is kind of my fault. They don't talk about it, but I mean, shit.
But no, it makes sense on why he did not allow Sirius to kill Wormtail.
Say again?
Why did he not allow Sirius to kill?
Because he didn't. His parents wouldn't want him to.
No, because then there was no way to clear Sirius Black's name.
Well, he also said that it was his parents wouldn't want Sirius to be a murderer.
That's
what's said. That's what's said.
If he can't clear his name,
that's
there's no
also
way.
a factor.
Okay, you're done. It's a
I'm
factor,
right.
but
Check
the
tape.
factor is that he could never be with him. He could never live with him. He could never have a normal life with him. Because Sirius Black would always been a murderer.
I got you.
Oh, my word. You whatever. You're right.
What was your favorite thing in the film? Mine was the maze sequence leading up to Voldemort getting introduced and the whole graveyard scene. That's my favorite part in Goblet of Fire. It lasts like 30 minutes of the movie.
I liked the Yule Ball.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's when the characters are finally starting to grow up.
They're so not though. They're still like
they're starting to grow up. They're in that teenage years, and that's
Hermione's too young. Ain't on.
Oh my word!
You're done. Least favorite thing about the film?
There was none.
Okay. Well, I just think definitely. I think this film just allows for them to really try to slam dunk the fucking rest of the series, book wise and movie wise, and this is cool. I think it's
a turning point in the story.
Yeah, Voldemort's in existence. It's tight.
While there was a murder, Voldemort's in existence. It's the turning point. Like Hermione says at the very end there, everything's going to change. And they're like, yeah. And that was the point right there.
Well, yeah, Voldemort's so dope. Voldemort is, I think he's my favorite villain of all time. Like, he's just so dope. And I think people that aren't Potter fans, like some people hate on it, but like, think about how gangster is. He just teleports around, or apparates rather, and just murks people. Like, we'll get into that.
Talk to snakes.
Talk to snakes, which is pretty dope. He's the most feared human.
But this is his first appearance.
Yeah, he's dope, though. I fuck with him. You want to talk about some of the book stuff? And we'll circle back.
Like what?
So, Barty Crouch Jr. isn't in the opening scene at Riddle Manor. It's not a thing. In the book.
That's right.
This is all book stuff. And like I said in the past reviews, these are not all the differences, but some major things I wanted to acknowledge. And yeah. There's a huge lead in to the start of the book that I totally forgot about because I haven't read this in years. And this is only my second time reading through the books. I'm reading the illustrated version.
Just looking at the pictures.
There's words. Fuck off. It's the whole book with pictures. They're pretty dope. I have one right here on camera if you want to check it out. But they have the first 5 done illustrated wise. And it's a cool read through. I like it. Anyways, but leading into the characters going to the Quidditch World Cup at the beginning, Potter is at the Dursleys. And Molly Weasley reaches out to get Potter to go to the Quidditch World Cup.
Right.
And then the Dursleys, or the Weasleys end up showing up to the Dursleys.
In their fireplace, right?
By flu powder. And, which is, yeah, flu powder through chimneys and shit. Fireplaces.
Isn't the fireplace boarded up still from the last?
Yeah, and they like bust their whole fucking living room up. And then like Fred and George are there and they drop candy on the floor for Dudley to eat, and his tongue and his tongue grows out to the length of 4 feet. And it's just like a really weird, chaotic scene when you read it, and it's just totally ridiculous. And it's a really cool scene, actually. I'd like to see that in the show when they do it. But then it also introduces you to the notion of or the idea of the Weasley's Wizards Wheezes joke store that they want to make, the twins. And you could it's just an instance where you see their product in full effect, and it's like they're kind of geniuses on some level creating this magic candy while terrorizing the Dursleys and trying to get Potter to leave the Dursleys because school's about to start and the Quidditch World Cup is before. So that whole sequence was kind of cool.
That was definitely worth the read.
It definitely, like, I was like, oh shit, like I totally didn't even recall this at all. The thing in the book that is much more present, and I think that it was something that could have been in the film more a little bit. It was apparating. Like, I think they could have introduced apparating.
Yeah, but they don't learn that until when?
No, but like the adults apparating, like there just wasn't any in it, and they talk about splinching, which is like it.
Not
when you
fully
go to,
getting to
when you go to apparate somewhere, but you don't get there correctly. But that also was a cool thing in the book that they explained, that splinching has people apprehensive to apparate because you have to be, if you're a really strong, smart gangster wizard, it's no thing. But for
and
some,
you have to be a certain age to do it.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, it's why people are apprehensive to do it because of splinching. So they'll just travel by brooms because it's a slower but safe method, because it's like considered unsafe to apparate at times.
Yes, but you also have to deal with being seen while you're flying your broom.
Yeah, I'm just saying the notion of apparating, it looks so cool, and you see it a bunch in the later films, and it was talked about a lot in the book, and it would have been cool to see more apparating in it. They talk about the unspeakables that are from the Ministry, like secret Aurors, I guess. What do you think they're up to? Hunting Voldemort?
I don't know. Maybe they're the ones that are undercover looking for the still dark wizards.
Yeah, I feel that. I like how it talks about Dobby's looking to get paid instead of be like a house elf.
Oh, yeah.
And like Dobby exchanged gifts with Potter a bunch of times. And Dobby's actually the one that gives the gillyweed to Potter for the second task, not Neville.
Mm-hmm. But again, they bridge that quite seamlessly, too, to change it around without a huge issue. They had Moody giving Longbottom the book on water plants, the gillyweed.
Yeah, which
and they talked about that.
In the movie, that's how...
Right. So that's why I said they bridged that difference seamlessly. You didn't even notice.
Yeah, it does mention that he had given him the book in the book. But yeah, it's just not the way that he ends up
getting it. Yeah.
Getting the gillyweed. At the World Cup, Harry doesn't get separated in the book. He stays with the group.
Right.
There's an interrogation of Winky with the Wizards at the World Cup, naturally, because they catch her and they think she's the one that conjured the Dark Mark, but it's Barty Crouch Jr.
Yes, they accused her of using a freaking wizard's wand. I guess I'm not allowed to do that.
Gotta keep them in line.
Yeah, those slaves.
Them house, they trying to get out of line.
Remember the house slaves.
Dobby
is a free slave.
He's a free slave. I'm a free slave. Mrs. Weasley gives Ron his dress robes before he leaves for Hogwarts. He doesn't receive them in the mail while attending Hogwarts.
Yes, well, that was a funny point. Deja had to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone laughed. Remember, he said, Diddy, these are yours. I'm not wearing them, they're ghastly. It's like,
Yeah.
what century are you from?
That shit's, I don't know. That actually is a good line, though. It actually is funny. Potter was wearing dress robes that were green. Thought that was interesting, being that he's a Gryffindor. He's just
And also in the book, they tried to fix Ron's robe. Remember, they tried to remove the lace.
What? Say they tried to remove the lace? What?
Yeah, they tried to remove the lace from Ron's robes. There were all strings hanging from it.
In the book?
Yeah, in the book.
I don't recall that.
Yeah.
That's when I started.
Fashion person, so yeah. Obviously, you can tell the way we're dressed.
The Mr. Weasley gets contacted by Amos Diggory, Cedric's father, about Mad Eye thinking he had an intruder in his yard. And that ties into Barty Crouch Jr. and how he like kidnapped Moody.
Yes, they bewitched the dustbins, they call them over there, across the pond.
Is that what they said?
Yes, across the pond. They're dustbins. Or dirt bins. Or dustbins.
Dustbins.
They said dustbins, yes.
Yep. The book explains how the wizarding schools stay hidden. They're bewitched in the same sense the Quidditch World Cup was. I think that's the context at which they bring it up in the book. But just they're bewitched, so muggles only see ruins, and there's signs like keep out, it's unsafe.
They're bewitched, so the muggles are bewildered.
They just don't know.
Yes.
There's on page 122, there was something that I was really confused about. It said spotted dick. Look. Okay.
What?
On page 122. You didn't notice that?
No.
And I was like, why does it say this? And I was like, what are the English doing over here? But apparently it's an English dish that's steamed pudding with like a spongy cake and like creamy vanilla sauce, which I also thought was funny.
That sounds disgusting.
It sounds sexual in its description, but it's funny that it's spotted dick. Look. Like, JK.
Yeah, well,
Rowling.
They talk different over there.
Yeah, JK Rowling's awesome shit. She's like, spotted dick, look. But
Did
it's
they
an
change-
English dish.
They changed some of the words in there because from the English to the American English.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the first book was not called the Sorcerer's Stone. It was something.
The Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. See.
So the champions in the book, it says they'll be selected by impartial judges for the goblet, and then it's weird because it like pisses out names, but it says that they'll be chosen.
Yeah.
But they're kind of not. I guess maybe because Potter was the only. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. But there's like a binding contract
binding magical contract. He said.
And so in the movie they have Crumb as like this big built guy, but in the book he's described as he's almost an emo looking motherfucker. Like in the book, he's drawn like that, but he's a thin, tall. Yeah. Like his description was,
he seemed thin. He didn't.
I mean, he was thin, but he was built. Like they describe him as thin, dark, and sallow skin with a large curved nose and thick black eyebrows. He looked like an overgrown bird of prey, and that's not the Crumb we see in the movie. But I think I like the Crumb we see in the movie better than it's described. Like it's a built athlete looking person rather than some scrawny, like. I don't know what you'd call it, but
no,
bird looking. Like, what the fuck is that?
I think everybody fit.
Yeah,
with who you would picture, or what you would picture.
They explain more so why Ron might blurt out and ask Fleur Delacour or whatever to the Yule Ball, and she's a Vila.
Yes.
Which is what is that again?
They're not sexual beings, but they're
they are essentially they're whores.
Yeah, no, they're attracted. They have this charm where guys are drawn to them.
Whores. Yeah. The book references,
and he did make mention to that too. Not that they were whores. He was, I like the way when they walk.
Yeah, that's another good Weasley line.
Yeah,
shout out to Ron. The book references goblin rebellions in the 18th century, and that's what Hogwarts Legacy is based off of in the game. And I thought that was really cool that they utilized that reference because I didn't realize that playing the game. But it's referenced in this book because you know how there's that goblin because we've played it where the goblin
isn't the game based on the book.
I didn't know that it's so far back they kind of just kept it fresh, but it's the Goblin rebellions, and it's dope. Anyways, and they also
in the game. How else can you kill people? You need a rebellion.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
They also reference Rookwood, a name in the book, and that's one of the antagonists in the game is a Rookwood.
Okay. We're getting sidetracked here talking about the game. We're talking about the book and the movie.
Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about this because it's important.
Okay. For those of you who are watching, could you call in, please, and tell us your thoughts?
You're done.
I want to just hear about the
Shut the fuck up. The winged horses only drank single malt whiskey.
That's right.
The boys and girls, there's boys and girls arrive from Bobaton.
Yes.
And sorry if I'm saying that name retarded, but
in the movie it was only girls.
Correct. And the horses were size of elephants.
Well, they were pulling a carriage the size of a house.
Yes. And they parked out near Hagrid's hut.
Yes.
So they could
do it.
He could watch over their elephant horses. Lee Jordan, one of the characters, I think in the movie I still don't know if Lee Jordan's a girl or a guy. In the movie, I think it's supposed to be a guy.
It is.
But in the movie, the dude's voice is really high. It's the black kid.
Yeah, again, they're just hitting puberty.
Yeah, but he takes the aging potion with the Weasley brothers. And then they have to go to Madame Pomfrey to get it reversed. Never mind, I won't say that.
No, don't.
Potter and Malfoy have a quick spout with spells that result in spells getting deflected. One onto Goyle and one onto Hermione. And that's where, in the book, Hermione, she has really buck teeth. She's supposed to be ugly. But in this instance, the spell reflects onto her large front teeth, and they make them even bigger. And then that's when she gets them fixed.
Oh,
so she doesn't look
remember
ugly.
what Snape said? When he caught them and he was giving them attention, and Harry said, "Oh, we'll look at the spell that hit Hermione." And he goes, "I don't see any difference."
See, Snape with the
poor Hermione with her big buck teeth.
Dude.
And she was ugly too. She
ugly, but that was like where Crumb, after she fixed her teeth, like Crumb's like, "Oh, I'll hit that." Which, by the way, Crumb is what 18. Hermione's 14 or 15. Yeah. That's too much. That's too much.
No. And again, I think it was 17.
Is he 17? That would make more sense. I thought he was 18.
Okay, but even still, so she's 14. That happened in high school with seniors asking out freshmen.
Okay.
Oh, my word.
Rita Skeeter had 3 gold teeth in the book, and I think that would have been cool to see her have.
Oh, my word.
Gold teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold. What up,
well,
bitches?
Hogwarts is the ghetto now that we've established the wizard ghetto.
Yeah, but she's come above that.
The Wayne of Wands event, which they don't show in the movie.
I thought you said the Wayne.
No.
Wayne.
The Wayne of Wands is a cool scene where Ollivander gets involved and inspects the wands. And that's when Rita Skeeter does her interviews. But Ollivander's in that sequence inspecting wands and shit. Pause. Hagrid asked Potter and the 3 broomsticks to meet him that night. In the movie, Ron says Hagrid was looking for him through Hermione.
Yes, that's when they were having their little battle. Their little spout. Yeah, spout.
Yeah. And then when Hagrid takes Potter to go see the dragons, in the book, Hagrid has a conversation with Charlie Weasley explaining about the dragons. So just Charlie Weasley is present.
Right. And Harry's under the cloak still.
Yeah, chilling. And then Madame Maxine tries to suck Hagrid's dick, and it gets crazy. And Charlie...
That must have been a freaking different version. Yeah, because he was dressed up for a date. Remember, he had his hair combed, and he had that big fucking flower pinned to his lapel.
Dude, it was swag.
Yeah, it was like a big fucking sunflower.
Don't hate on his swag.
And then Post Malone came out. The sunflower. Oh.
Rita and Hermione were not present in the Champions Tent prior to the first task, but Rita shows up after the task questioning Potter.
Right.
The
dragon. That was another funny part when Dumbledore came in and started talking to everybody. He goes and he sees Hermione. He goes, "What are you doing here, Miss Granger?"
Yeah. Dumbledore's so chill though. He's like, he doesn't tell her to leave.
No.
He's just like, what are you
Just
doing?
I'll leave.
The dragon during the task doesn't leave the arena and chase Potter all through the grounds of Hogwarts like in the movie.
Right.
And in the book, naturally, it explains how the other students did the first task. Cedric transfigured a rock into a dog to distract the dragon. That's kind of fucked up. Crumb shot the dragon in the eye with a conjunctivitis curse, which is what Sirius was going to suggest before his meeting with Harry was cut short because he was trying to give him advice on the first task in the fire. It's like the last thing he tries to tell him. In the book, he like, because if you watch the movie, you'd be like, why didn't he give him any advice about like how to deal with a dragon? But in the book, he tries to, but it gets interrupted by someone going into the common room. And they actually tell you what the remarks were and the scores were for each event in the book.
Based on time.
There was all sorts of things.
Yeah.
In the book, some girls did ask Harry to the Yule Ball. A couple of really young ones, apparently. And an older Butch type one from the way it's described.
Yeah, it was their shot at doing the whole
What?
tranny thing, I guess.
Oh, Jesus. Harry gives Dobby used socks for Christmas. And Dobby gave socks he knitted to Harry for Christmas.
That's right.
Percy was at the Yule Ball. He's not in the movie at all, I don't think.
No.
We talked about how you learned that Hagrid's mother is a giantess and shit like that. In the movie and the book, it has, when Cedric gives the clue to the riddle to Potter, I don't know why he's talking in a riddle to him. Why can't he just be like, he saved him from a dragon, and he's not going to just go up and be like, hey, take your egg and put it underwater and it'll show you.
Well, maybe because when Harry told him about his clue, Harry just said dragons. They have one for us.
Yeah, but that's all he knew.
Yeah, oh, well,
Cedric already had figured out that.
Because you can't get into it. It's like,
why not? He saved his life from a dragon.
Because they don't want to be accused of cheating. He wants to be fair, so he's giving the clue. Take a bath with it and relax. He didn't say, oh, put it under the water in here. He said, just take a bath.
It's a weird suggestion.
Wow.
Rita is way more present in the book. Rita Skeeter. She appears during a lesson at Magical Creatures and tries to get some dirt on Hagrid.
Right, for the Malfoy and for the thing,
And also that's one of the instances where she spied on a conversation additionally and heard that he was half giant,
right,
and all that shit. And also the one in the magical classes, they there's unicorns that are present, which I thought was cool.
Right,
there was 2 foals, which is baby unicorns apparently.
Yes, it's a baby horse.
A foal?
Yes.
Is it? Shit.
Oh my fucking word.
Okay, well, let me just double check since you're gonna be rude about it.
Dude, I know everything, really. I guess I'll entertain the crowd again. Look, everybody, magic.
A foal. Good job. Dude,
oh, shit.
New material.
Watch that plug.
Watch that plug.
Watch that plug. It's a high school cheer.
The character Ludo Bagman, what is he again? The
Minister of Magical Games. No, that's him.
Yeah, my fucking memory is. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I just forget the title.
Yeah.
Something Magical Games, but just his whole trying to help Harry cheat because he had the bet on him.
Okay, well, again, be clear. This was just in the book. It was not in the movie.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, he, on every task, he tries to give him insight.
Right.
And Potter's like, what the fuck?
Right. And then you come out and find out that, because he's trying to win a bet.
Right. And, back on the opening the egg underwater thing, they describe the bath. It's basically the size of a pool.
Yeah.
Because there was a diving board and shit in it.
Well, it's for the prefects.
Yeah, they just get like a pool.
Yeah.
Myrtle makes a comment, moaning Myrtle. She's
a little whore.
She's a little whore, for sure. But she talks about haunting this girl named Olive that found her dead found Myrtle dead. And apparently she was mean to her, so she ended up like haunting her for like all the way to her brother's wedding or something. Like she like followed her around, but I thought ghosts were limited to where they were dead, but she made it seem that she was able to haunt this woman outside of Hogwarts, which was interesting. So I was like, is she just choosing to stay at Hogwarts?
Well, maybe I guess she could only haunt one person at a time. I don't know. From the Handbook of the Recently Deceased, it doesn't cover that. You're from Beetlejuice? So it didn't cover that.
Stop.
I don't know. Well, you're asking ludicrous questions.
Really?
Ludicrous.
I'm talking about if ghosts can travel.
Yeah.
But like Beetlejuice, that's
Dude,
different.
it's a magic
shit.
movie.
Okay. I'm just talking about continuity shit.
They could travel in the movie Ghost. Remember Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore? He traveled everywhere. So I guess they can travel.
You need to stop.
No, they can travel. There's your answer, folks. Thank you. You heard it here first. On Live with Kathy and Regis Lee. Regis and Kathy Lee. Oh my God, you're done.
And the second task, they walk in from the shore rather than have like a raft in the middle of the lake.
Yes, they row it. Yeah, they're magical boats. But you notice that the lake was like 5,000 feet deep.
What do you? They don't take boats.
How did everyone else get to the platforms?
They just
From the
walk in
dock.
from the beach. Like that's how they did it.
The dock was not connected to the freaking platform.
I'm saying on the second task, the champions, they walk in from the beach into the lake.
Yes, and it was 5,000 feet deep. Remember, because the mer people lived there along with the octopus.
5,000 feet?
At least. I think it went clear to the other end of the world. It went through the core of the earth. That's why it was warm. They could just walk in.
You're so done right now. Yo, what was the sequence where Potter loses his egg and like Moody helps him?
Oh, yeah. Remember he had it under the clothes. No, he dropped it.
Oh, he's sneaking out of it.
Yes.
So when he's leaving the prefect's bathroom after inspecting the egg, he's sneaking back, and like Moody knows that he's there, but like he leaves it. He drops his egg.
Yes, and Snape showed up or something. It was something with Snape. It's always with Snape in the Libro.
He's a what?
In the Libro. That's
in the Libro
book for Mexican.
Please stop.
Cuantos años.
Moaning Myrtle shows up during the second task underwater and points Harry in the right direction.
Yeah.
She
can go anywhere.
I guess.
Yeah.
But okay, so then why is she staying at school?
Well, where else would she be?
She has nowhere else to be?
Yes, her parents didn't love her. They sent her away to boarding school.
I mean, that school is...
And she had glasses.
But Hogwarts is the ghetto.
Yeah. I'm Moaning Myrtle.
Do you think it's unusual that Dumbledore couldn't tell that Moody wasn't Moody? Like, after so long? Or, like, anybody was like... But maybe he was just so antisocial, typically. Like, no one really talked to him in general.
Yeah, that's why they said they kept him alive, so he can interrogate him and find out.
Yeah, I think that was, like...
So...
no, I want to say some of these things because, like... It just makes certain things make more sense. You're like, oh, that's like because it makes it cooler. You're like, oh, that's how he would be able to imitate him at that scale.
Okay, how many times have I said it? It's a magic movie.
Yeah,
So
but there still needs to be
people have
continuity and like good shit and make as much sense as possible.
Why would Dumbledore not think that was Moody? That's why.
Potter used the jagged rock to cut the rope underwater to release Wheezy. That's what
Wheezy.
Wheezy. That's what
the Jeffersons
that's
showed
what,
up.
Who said Wheezy? Someone says Wheezy in it, and like for Wheezy, was it? I think it's Dobby. I think Dobby says Wheezy.
Oh my God, you're done.
No, this whole sequence plays out differently. Like Harry helps Crumb cut the rope with this rock he finds, and then he also like tries to steal a spear from like a merb dude.
Mer person.
Yeah, he's like, it's like a 7 foot tall giant merman. He's like, yo, give me your spear to release Wheezy.
They're my friends too.
But like, there's a whole mer village down there,
Yeah,
motherfucker. And like Dumbledore can speak Mermish.
Yeah, whatever.
Word, dude.
Yeah, because they came up to the surface after the task to tell Dumbledore what had happened.
Say again?
Oh, my freaking word. The mer people came to the surface to speak to Dumbledore to explain what had happened down below. That's how he knew that Harry Potter tried to save the other people.
Yes.
I know it. I just said it. That's why fucking yes. What do you mean? Yes. Yes. You're
Watch
right
your
again.
fucking tone.
Let's check with my fan. How you doing, Heather?
I want to tell
Thumbs
you. Kept doing that. There's a lot more talk of the Dark Mark on the Death Eaters. There's one scene where Karkaroff interrupts Snape in class, and he's like, "Yo, you need to come here and like see like my Dark Mark." But there's just a lot more involving the connection between his followers, like the Dark Mark, and what that means when they start seeing it. And like in the book, there's like this dynamic where Snape has the Dark Mark, Karkaroff, like all the former Death Eaters do, and like they can all sense that Voldemort's coming back.
Yeah, because it's starting to show up.
Yeah, it shows up, and like it's like
Well,
coming alive.
I mean, not to sound redundant, but yeah, the book always gives you so much more detail in so many different parts of the movie that are parts of that aren't covered in the movie or just glossed over. That's why these books, I mean, the movies are good, but the books are so much better.
I know, and I guess that's like kind of what I want to do, and I hope I'm doing an okay job at this point in time with trying to maybe interest some of the people that it'd be cool for it'd be fun to read it because there's so much more to the story that the things that you might have seen on screen, it gives way more credence to why it's actually as cool as it is because there's all these other subplots that kind of emphasize and amplify the coolness of that thing.
If you get past the first 3 books, you know, it takes a turn. The writing gets more descript. There's more plots going on, subplots going on. It's a whole different level. So
100%. And I think it's what makes it like the story is just really on point.
Right.
Mostly. I'm being like super critical on stuff, and like everything else in the film is literally top notch in my opinion, outside of like the stuff that we've been clowning on. But it still is a great movie, and it has a lot to offer, I guess.
Like I said, I mean, they didn't follow the books, well, the book for this movie to a T, but they bridged the gap seamlessly. Yeah, they changed a few things, but not the story. Yeah, they changed how things happened, or how things got to where they were going to happen.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Like, yeah. Sure. I must have been crazy reading the plot twist when Cedric and Potter simultaneously get the wizard cup or whatever. And then it's a port key. But like reading that for the first time, which you did, correct? You read all of them before the movies?
Yes, I did.
So,
no, not all of them.
Goblet?
I think
You've told me this like 10 times, but I always forget.
I think I started reading when book 5 was going to come out. I started going to get the book.
Okay, so you knew by the movie that he would get transported?
I saw the movie. No, I didn't see the movie.
Because reading that part when they get, it's a port key.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a really good plot twist. If you were reading for the first time, you hadn't seen the movies, and you came to that point, and you're like, oh, they're going to win the Triwizard Cup. And then all of a sudden they go to the graveyard where Voldemort gets re-alived.
Yeah.
That's a sick plot twist.
Oh, yeah.
But I just feel like everybody knows that almost. Or just like, I don't know. When I first watched it, I don't know. I just feel reading that story would have been like, whoa, plot twist. Where a movie, maybe it's more easily foreseen. I don't know, but it just like when I read it through this time, I was like, this would have been a really intriguing moment. Like,
Yeah,
whoa.
I don't think it was expected when you saw that. I mean, you didn't expect it. Like you said, plot twist. That was totally unexpected. So,
Yeah, and I just think the first time I might have seen the movie, I wasn't fully invested in it, and so like it ruined that plot point. Like I knew that, like when I finally got into Potter, I had already knew that sequence. Like I had
Right.
seen it once and was like, whatever. But I never saw past Goblet. I don't like. I really only saw like the first two when I was really young. But yeah, so like then when getting involved in like being into the lore, I already knew that plot point was coming. So yeah, I can't say what that would be like, but I just imagine it being like, whoa, shit, like that's kind of like a surprise. But I feel like a lot of people have that experience where maybe the first time they saw Goblet, they weren't as invested into it. And then that point happens and it's not like, oh my God. But like if you were into it from the beginning, that would have been a way bigger moment, I guess. Whereas like, oh
more
shit.
of a surprise. I mean, yeah.
No. What'd you think of all the Death Eaters kissing the robes and essentially bowing to Voldemort in the book? Because it's a little more excessive with the fear and worship.
Well, I mean, I thought it did justice to it. I mean, they worshipped him.
Not all of them showed up, but like the ones that did were worshiping. Like
I think some of the ones who didn't show up were still in Azkaban, weren't they? Bellatrix was.
Those the Lestranges were. Yeah. But yeah, there was some that didn't show. There's two.
Yeah.
The rest were dead. Snape is one, and then who's the other one? Oh, Barty Crouch.
Yeah.
I think he said maybe three. I can't remember, but Barty Crouch Jr. and Snape.
Yeah.
Is there anything that stuck out when you were
A Death Eater?
No, when you were reading the book, where you're like, oh shit.
No, it just takes you. I mean, everyone reads differently, but I just let the story take you. And, you know, nothing that hit me. Oh my God, that was great. It's all part of the story. So, I mean, you know what's coming, you know, the battle that's leading on. So that's the point. But these are all, you know, cool parts of the journey.
Well, yeah, like this, the sequence at the Dursleys I thought was really cool. Like it was like, well,
yeah.
There was some stuff in there. Like there's a whole sequence where the kids chill with Sirius and go to this place he's chilling at in the mountains and hiding with Buckbeak.
Right.
And they bring him like chicken and bread, and they talk about Barty Crouch's disappearance.
Yeah, and how he's been stealing newspapers. Sirius.
He was stealing newspapers?
Yes, as a dog.
Okay.
Yeah, he was stealing newspapers to find out what was going on.
Okay, I don't recall him saying that.
Uh-huh.
You run across a drunk Winky at one point.
Yeah.
And she like talks about Crouch's whereabouts because he's sending letters and he's like under a curse that you find out from Voldemort, which is that whole Barty Crouch Jr. arc. And then Bortha Jenkins, she comes into play, the teacher that went missing.
She gave him all the information about the Triwizarding tournament and everything else.
So they could put themselves in place to infiltrate that and get Potter to win the cup or whatever and sent to Voldemort.
Yeah, so it is kind of an elaborate plan.
It is, but it doesn't. I guess sometimes I think people look at what the movie presents, and there's just so much cooler shit going on that I've forgotten about too. And one thing I noticed was Nifflers were introduced. Those little platypus gold-seeking creatures. That's in the Fantastic Beasts series.
Yeah,
that was in one of the magical creatures class. And the one thing we're talking about Rita Skeeter and stuff, it's so weird that she's spying on kids in school.
Well, she's trying to get a story. That's the whole thing. You know, she wasn't spying on the kids, but she was, you know, talking to Malfoy. You know, and again, she's spying now. I don't think just because it was kids, but that's who the story was. You know, Harry Potter. Here's the shit on Harry Potter. What's going on with him? You know, you saw Hermione hugging him, and that's how the whole thing started.
Yeah, but she's just kind of a weirdo.
Well, it's trying to. No, most reporters are weird. They're trying to get stories.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
They're nosy. But it's just these kids, like who knows where she was beetling around.
Oh my word, she's a dung beetle.
She might be. I guess I never realized that Neville Longbottom, the name of the character, his parents were still alive. I thought they were dead.
No.
But they're in an insane asylum and they don't recognize him from excessive use of the Cruciatus
Saint
curse.
Mugos or Mugos or Mungos or something like that.
Mundunga?
No, that's the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And getting back to the Nifters, remember they found all that gold? Remember when Hagrid was demonstrating and all the gold that they found? Everyone had a Nifter to see who
fake
could
gold.
find. Yes, it was Irish gold. Remember that's what, and Ron paid Harry back with Irish gold. He got pissed off because he didn't tell him that it all disappeared.
Well, that's Fred and George got that from Ludo Bagman in a bet.
Yeah.
And the money disappeared when they won the bet at the Quidditch World Cup. And then that's when they were trying to blackmail Ludo Bagman.
But I was saying, the Nifters, that's what I was talking about. They were finding gold coins in the dirt in the garden.
Yeah, no, I remember
And they
that.
were Irish. They were Irish coins.
But there was just a tie-in. There was 2 instances where that coin.
Yeah. Oh, my word. Okay, never mind. Give me strength.
Well, I think it would be a cool element to explore with Neville's parents in the show, even though they don't talk about it, like if he goes and visits them.
He does.
But like film him going to visit them. Like,
That would be a hard...
that's what I'm saying, but it would create a cool tone for the show. It's dark, you know? At the end, when Wormtail comes out in the movie, he's not in like, cloaked robes or anything. And in the book, he's all robed up, and Potter doesn't know, or Cedric doesn't know who's approaching them in the graveyard.
Right.
And I thought that was cool. And I think in the movie, that would have been a cool unveil, too, where like you're like, who has this thing with him, which is Voldemort, and then he like unveils it's him. Like I thought that was kind of cool. And Nagini was in that scene, too.
Yeah, she was
in the book.
Movie. Yeah, not in the movie, yeah.
She's not in that end sequence. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. In the book, they describe Voldemort looking a certain way. I wanted to like show the people on the film where like how he's described and how the dude drew him in the illustrated version because it was actually kind of cool.
Did you mark it down what page?
Yeah, I'm on the right page, but I'm trying to see.
Doesn't it look like this?
No. Hold on, shit.
Because in the movie, it was a little itty bitty baby. Well, not a baby.
It was like red and scaly. What
Yes,
the fuck? I thought I had this right, and I fucking can't
See,
find it.
again, being unprepared.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, this is what it looks like, but he's like red and scaly. I don't know if you can see, like.
I just see the glare of the page.
Except for the people listening, they're like, dude, stop.
Yeah, they're like, really? You're making us nauseous. Stop moving that around.
But it's just, he's described as like red and scaly and this like little like gremlin looking thing versus this little mini person that he did in the movie, which I thought looked cool, but it's just not how he's described, and he has red eyes and shit.
Right. Yeah, and slits in her nose like a snake. I watched the movie, and the ears all of a sudden just developed. Like, I don't remember not having ears, and they showed up. So,
Voldemort?
yeah. No, Harry.
Shut up. The pensive sequence, or the pensive sequence, in the book, there's more visions or memories that Harry sees, like the trial of Ludo Bagman being suspected of talking to dark wizards.
Right.
And then, at the end of the book, Sirius was present, which he isn't in the movie.
No.
But he's helping, he hears what's happened, and he's there to help his godson. And then on the way home, there's a scuffle on the train, like after all the events with the kids. With Crabgoyle and Malfoy. And they get body bagged, the Slytherin kids.
Don't they put him up in the luggage compartment?
No, that's what Malfoy does to... Or Potter's hiding in the luggage department.
No, I think after they jinxed him, I thought they put him up in the luggage compartment. No,
I don't think so.
I must have imagined it. So yeah,
I mean, the biggest disservices, I guess, overall good setup, but some of the story arcs, like with Ludo Bagman and Barty Crouch Jr., those not being in it could have enhanced the movie in a really different way. And apparating, if that was in there, and then Winky naturally being in there, if Barty Crouch Jr.'s arc is more expanded.
Right.
And take out the hair or give the kids a haircut.
Okay, get over that part.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But all those things to add, I mean, yeah, they would have been cool that they could develop, but that would have been a long-ass movie. God.
Yeah, but like you cut out the chase scene.
Which chase scene?
With the dragon. I mean, that's a couple minutes. There's just things that they could do.
Then they need to develop that sequence more. Because how else is he going to get the dragon egg?
How he did in the book.
Yes, but you still have to develop the part. He's not just going to fly by and get it.
Listen.
Yeah, so you're wrong.
No.
The fans vote for me. Thank you. I will be back.
The acting of some of the kids isn't top tier either, but I think this story contributes to one of, if not the best fiction story of all time, and with one of my favorite villains of all time. So I'm going to give it a 9.1. Which is a little, you can say it's a little biased. Like, it's one of my favorites. Like, if it's not one of your favorites, I don't expect it to be that high of a score, but like, it's definitely a B-level movie, you could say, at the same time being an A-level movie. Like, they did, the dragon looks great. There's so much that looks dope, and the story's dope. There's just some presentation issues and some story that's left out that I think would make it better. So, like, but it still contributes to some of the best shit. So,
I'd give it, what'd I give the other one?
Azkaban,
yeah.
I think, I got you. It was pretty close to what you gave Chamber of Secrets. So Azkaban, you gave a 9.
Yep.
We both gave it a 9.
Yep. I'm going to stick with a 9. Can't go wrong with Harry Potter. Again, it's sad because as the movie ages, our technology is changing, and it doesn't compare to what you see now. Right now, it's still good.
It's still fine. It's still good. And like, I think the big thing is just having Voldemort fully come into fruition.
Yeah,
is a huge value for me in the movie.
Well, that's
like,
the whole series. It goes dark.
It's like we finally are here. So like that gives it a little boost on some of the shortcomings it had. It's like Voldemort's in it. Like you gotta represent for Voldemort, and it's got to be in the 9s. And I think just a little. If I gave Azkaban a 9, this is a smidge better. Although it's got some quirky like things, I'd make some adjustments. Like.
But it's not something that detracts from the movie.
Basically. Like, it's just like, is what it is. Like, it's not like I'm giving it a 10. And like, technically, what a 93 in my day was an A. So like, technically it's a B score, but I consider it in the 9s. It's like, I mean, it's an A quality movie.
Yes, but it's at a 10. So yeah, so it's still A. 90 is still A. 90 is still A.
No, it depends which school you go to.
Yeah, well, the smart schools, 90 is still A.
You probably went to Hogwarts.
I did. I was
the school out. For hood people and wizardry.
Oh my God. And scene.
You're done. Yo, you made a comment. You said, where are refrigerated cup holders in cars?
Yeah.
Where are those at?
I don't know.
You still feel that way?
Yeah, now it would be heated because now obviously it's winter. So those cup holders, you should be able to hit a button. Oh, and now it'll keep your drink hot. And during the summer, hit the other switch. Oh, it's going to keep it cold.
They can't. They haven't done that
because they fucking thing sweats, and then the cup holder's filled with water. Next thing you know, the police are pulling you over. Why do you have that joint? So yeah.
You're done.
No, you're done.
Okay. So that's all I got over here.
It was a wonderful movie.
Merlin's beard.
And
I can't believe you didn't match my score. That makes me mad. I thought you were gonna do 9.1.
No. This is coming up 9. They're all been 9s. But
you gave the other ones 8. Let me see what you gave the other ones.
Oh, it's building up. I can tell you right now what the next 5 movies will be.
Don't.
I know, I don't want to spoil it for my fan. Don't listen, Heather.
So you gave... Oh, you've been giving 9s.
Thank you. I just said that.
Okay. I gave Sorcerer's Stone 8.8.
Yeah, see?
I gave... And you gave it a 9. Chamber of Secrets, I gave it 8.9. And you gave it 9. And then Azkaban, we both gave 9s. And then...
Now you're 9.1.
And you're a 9.
Oh,
okay, I love it then. It's that's on point. Totally. Okay. Well, dude, thanks for being on the show for real. I know this has been a pain in the ass, and I apologize. You were traveling.
Yeah. I don't fucking think so.
But no, I appreciate patience. Sorry, everybody, for anybody that was like looking forward to like me being somewhat consistent on doing these episodes. I know it's been 7 months since Azkaban, but when do you want to try to do Order of Phoenix? Like, let's talk about this real quick. Like, should we just?
What?
I want to read one other book and then read that.
Oh, Jesus. Well, it all depends on you. I could sit down tomorrow and start reading the next book.
Right. So, like, we'll make a decent effort to try to do it soon.
Where are we now? January?
Before, should we say
Before summer.
Before summer.
Before May.
Just say before summer.
January.
We'll just say before summer because that's
Can
June
I do this?
20th.
January, February, March, April. May. Yeah, it's only 3 months. Before summer.
I like that. Okay.
Summer.
So before summer, we'll do Order of the Phoenix. And yeah, thank you everybody for listening to the episode. I hope it was legit. I feel like I was trying to illuminate some cool elements to the book that kind of enhances the story and makes what I think to be an amazing story even better. And I hope it made you feel like you might want to read the book, or at least you got the information now of the differences, or some of the differences, or most.
I already read the book.
Or for people that haven't. But
if you haven't, you should.
It's
really
cool. And it's
is.
not like if you read a little bit, like you can bust through these
Like
books.
I say, you have to get. I mean, they're kids' books to start, but they are definitely worth reading. If you get through the first 3, especially the first one, it's
a kid book.
It's a kid book. So you get through that, it's definitely worth
dope.
it.
It's definitely dope. So
It's very dope.
super dope.
Dope city.
Dope city. No, thanks for being on the show. Let's make some more of these episodes happen. And it was...
I have to please my fan. She wants to see more.
Stop.
Go, Heather!
You're done.
You're not.
Heather's my neighbor. So, like, what?
Dude, you're giving away your fucking location.
You're done. All right. Well, thank you again for the feedback.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It was dope. I think we did a decent job.
What the fuck? A decent job.
I did better than you did, but we're not going to get into that. It's fine.
It's your show. You should do better.
Okay, whatever.
I'm a newbie. I'm a noob.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Hope your life is going well. If not, stay positive. That's what you got to do. But Anonymous is hitting Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with a 9. Your host, One Up. What up? Hitting it with a 9.1. That's everything over here at the Movie Rant Break. I love all of you, and I'll catch you next episode. Deuces.
Peace out.